All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Hopefully everybody's been enjoying the Cyber Expo Summit. My name is Fausto Pugliese, president of Cyber University. How's everybody doing? Is everybody enjoying the event so far? Had a couple of great speakers so far. We had Candlestick, we had Bigelow, we had Don Kaufman from Thinkorswim, so got a lot more to come. Everyone enjoying? Kathleen, you're enjoying? Come on, it's Saturday. Who's not excited to be here on a Saturday morning? There we go. Linda. What about you, Miguel? Deborah? Good, good, good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so what I'm going to be talking about is high-frequency trading. And I know you've been hearing a lot about it. I talk a lot about it, but I'm going to show you a little bit more why it's so much an importance to know about being on the same playing field. I mean, the thing is, you guys have to understand that you got the technology, you got the power, I mean, that's why you're here. You're sick and tired of just giving your money away to somebody else to kind of just make 10% of your money. We're not in the 10% business. You know, I mean, as much as it sounds better than what it is, there's a lot more things that you could trade, make a lot more money, and that's what we're going to talk about. So let me just change the slide here, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get right to it. Is this me when I make my trades? I mean, when you go into your position, are you still trying to figure out, is it going up? Is it going down? You know, why am I buying the stock? You know, is somebody watching me? I mean, what actually is it? I mean, are you really that confused? Well, guess what? Most traders are. And why most traders are? Because who really educated you how to do it right? And that's why we're all here, how to learn how to play that game. So a little bit about myself, because I was that little confused little baby when I first started, okay? And this is how I got into the industry. I'd like to talk a little bit about who I am and exactly why you should be listening, not including myself, but every speaker here. I started, and just like Don just mentioned earlier, starting very, very young, I started when I was 22 years old. I'm actually 42 right now. With a lovely family, wife, with 3 wonderful boys. And the thing that I always learned, and my father-in-law always taught me, he says, listen, you want to support your family, you got to find something that's very unstressful, okay, where you can enjoy it, which you love your job, going there every morning, and how to do it. Well, I tried to do that with certain jobs. One thing I love more than anything, and I know that's why all of you here, is that you want to learn how to trade. But for some of you, you're probably starting not to like your job because maybe you're not doing well at it, or maybe some of you just feel there's something missing why you're not getting to that level. Well, guess what? I was one of those people. I was you 20 years ago. And fortunately, living in New York, the financial capital of the world, I was trained by some of the best traders in the world. And the reason why I got trained is because I was a big failure rate. And you'll notice every single speaker today is going to tell you the same exact thing. Listen, we just don't want you to make the same mistakes we made, okay? That's the ultimate honest truth. And that's why we became educators, because we don't want to see you go through what we went through. We've lost several hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why do you got to make the same mistakes? So fortunately, we said, you know what? We threw the white flag. And we says, you know what? Let me get learn from somebody. Well, for some of you, if you read, I don't know if anybody read my book. It's actually Wiley is publishing the first day trading book. You know, I think it's over 20 years actually. My book is the first one coming out in 20 years by Wiley. It's coming out in August. You can actually buy a PDF version on our website right now before it goes public. But the thing is, when I started out, I was just like this little kid that you see right here on the Forbes magazine, a bunch of kids tormenting Wall Street. Well, when I started, trading was a exclusive industry for market makers. I mean, that was the most prestigious job of the world. And, you know, but the exchanges didn't like it. They didn't like the idea that these market makers basically dictated what happened on the street and why did people buying and selling, because they wanted to give you the technology. So fortunately, I was one of those people out there. If you read any of the old books, they're called So's Bandits. I was one of the original So's Bandits out there. When I started, it was about 1,000 of us. Now there's over 10 million. And over the years, ladies and gentlemen, I traded, loved what I do, but I had to make a commitment and a promise to my students. I says, listen, if I really am as good as I think I am, well, let me go out there and compete. And for some of you, maybe you've seen me at the Money Show and Traders Expo, but I'm a 12-time champion at the show. I beat every single school that I competed against. And not only that, but I was also even televised on A&E channel, actually did a big documentary on it too. And the reason, and I've been all over the world. I've been to China, I've been to London, I've been to all over Canada, United States, everywhere. I competed with everyone. Paris, I did the World Challenge in Paris, beat all those people from Europe. The thing was this, if you want to learn how to trade, well, I hope that everyone here will follow the footsteps that I went through. And the way I learned is I learned from the best traders on Wall Street, and I says, you know what? The only way to learn, you got to learn from the best. Because if you learn from the worst, well, guess what happens? You're not going to succeed. So, things I'm going to teach you, ladies and gentlemen, basically how to discover the high-frequency market, strategies on entries and exits, support and resistance, ECN book, tradable stocks, trading, market making, what we trade here at C2, and much, much more. So, our brokerage firm is giving us a good deal on ticket charges. I think that's like the first thing, the #1 biggest mistake people make, okay? If you're out there and you open and you're looking to learn how to trade, the biggest mistake that I tell all my students, I ask them this question, are you trading right now? And they say yes. Well, let me explain something to you. How successful or how safe would it be for you to give a child, your kid, a 13-year-old, the keys to the car that never learned how to drive? Or even a 17-year-old. I mean, they have to learn before they could drive a car. Otherwise, what's going to happen? They're going to crash, and they might even, God forbid, die. And you don't want to do that. You're a smart parent than that. Well, you're my children, and I'm telling you like a parent. Biggest mistake people make, they open up a brokerage account, and they says, let me try it. Let me see how it works. If I make money, then I'll get the money I make and pay for the education. Please don't ever say that. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. That's what I want to give my money to. I want to give my money to a mutual fund or a money manager and say, yeah, could you trade my money for me? And like, sure, no problem. And then I ask him on an interview, and he says, well, how'd you learn how to trade? Oh, I'm just here. I didn't learn. I'm going to learn later. First, I want to see with your money how I do, and if I do good, then I'll learn. Yeah, that's the guy I want to give my money to. But the thing that I find people make is they go out there and they start trading their money, but they don't realize that you have the wrong brokerage account, you have the wrong strategy, you don't even know what you're looking at, and you're like the baby in the picture before, just confused. Sometimes you think people are watching you. It's like every time I sell it, when I sell it, the thing goes down. It goes up, and when I buy it, it always goes down. Well, the thing is this. I'm going to explain to you the most important thing to be a successful trader. And you all know the answer. And the question is this. And all of you should be able to answer this question. Can everybody just tell me, how do stocks go up and down in the stock market? Could all of you just answer that question? How do they go up? How do stocks go up and down in the market? Don't be shy. No one's going to pick on you, make fun of you. Nobody can see anyone's chat. Only I could. That's right, everybody. Could you everybody write that down? Supply and demand, S&D. S&D. Supply and demand, whoever, I don't know how fast you are. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, if you had the opportunity to see 70%, because that's what the number is, 70% of the volume of where the buyers and sellers are, how much better, smarter, and more winning trades would you have? Mike is saying a gazillion, my God. And what is that worth to you? It's endless, right? Well, these are called high-frequency trades, okay? You hear a lot of scrutiny. You've seen probably the articles on the 60 Minutes. You know, you saw everything on CNBC, and they make it like something that's like scary and dangerous. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. It just makes liquidity in the market. You just need to know how to play the game. So let me kind of explain the game really quick of what is happening to you by not being on the same playing field. First of all, you have to understand brokerage firms are not in the business to make $7 a ticket, $5 a ticket. That's not their business. Okay, if they did, they'll be bankrupt by the end of the day. Their goal is to make money on your order. That's how they make money. So they take your order and they're going to trade against you. They might sell some stock they have in inventory. They might sell it for another brokerage firm for payment for order flow. You know, they might route it to their market maker so they could buy it on the bid and sell it to you on the offer. I mean, seriously, think about it. Just stop and think about it for a second. Would you go through all that work and hire all those employees and pay all those taxes for $7? For $7, would you go into business for $7 a ticket, $5 a ticket, whatever, $10? Would you go out and do all that work, pay for all those employees, get the rent, all that stuff, the advertising, the baby commercials on the Super Bowl? I mean, think about it. Of course not. It's the thing. These are the things you don't see behind closed doors. Well, guess what? That's what we teach you here at Cyber Trading University. And the number one thing is this. That's why sometimes you have to, if you want to see a change for the better, you have to take things in your own hands. And that's, you know, one of my famous lines I love what Clint Eastwood always said about that. And how do you do that? Well, with the exchanges, what they did was now you could start taking matters in your own hands. You could actually go out there and become a market maker. So think about it. You have a seat on the exchange. Think about it. It's called direct access. You have instant access to the market. You ever notice on CNBC you don't see any market makers anymore? Everything's electronic. You don't need them anymore. You could do it yourself. But there's a very big difference between online brokers and direct access brokers. So it's time to go out there and be a market maker, take matters in your own hand, and drive your own car. We're sick and tired of public transportation. You have the opportunity to get a driver's license, go out there and use it. Well, how does that work? So what is the biggest step that people need to accomplish? What do we need to get started? Well, the first thing you need to understand is what we just mentioned before, supply and demand. So how do we understand supply and demand? Very, very simple. There are things that are called level 2, and there's something called total view, the ECN book. Now, let's go over really quick what level 2 is. Does anybody know what level 2 is? Anyone ever hear of it? Anyone here know what level 2? Just give me a yes or no. Wow, a lot of people. I'm getting a lot of no's. My God, I didn't know I had so many no's. All right, let me go over it really quick with you. And for the ones that already know, just please have patience for the ones that don't. All right, so B stands for buyers. That's the bid. S stands for sellers. That's the ask. You have 3 columns. The first column is giving you a 4-letter abbreviation of a brokerage firm or an ECN. You know, First Boston, NASDAQ, Archipelago, the Philadelphia, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, First Boston, Cantor Fitzgerald. These are everyone in the first column. Now, when I teach my students, I give you a list of them. You know, they're very, I know it might sound confusing in the beginning, but it is, because when you have 500 of them, you got to be concerned. But there's only about 20 of them that are very active. The second column is the price that the brokerage firm wants to buy. And the third column is the amount of shares. So if you want to sell stock, you have to sell it to those buyers. If you want to buy stock, you have to go to a seller, and the same thing. These are the sellers. This is the price they want to sell it for, and the amount of shares they want to sell. Everything there is multiplied by 100. So whoever wants to buy for the most amount of money is up on top. Whoever wants to buy for less money is the bottom. Whoever wants to sell their shares for the least amount of money is up on top. Whoever wants to sell their shares, more money's down at the bottom. So it's basically a negotiated system. You're seeing all the buyers and sellers. So, by the way, if anyone's having any audio or can't see, just log out and log back in, okay? All right, so let's talk about the difference between level 2 and total view, because a lot of people are saying you can't believe what's going on level 2, you can't trust these people. I totally understand, and they're right to a certain extent. What you're not seeing is what we call level 3. Level 3 is showing you the high-frequency trade. These are where all the big block orders are. This is where all the scrutiny you're hearing. These are the things that 95% of you are not making an investment to learn. Now remember, we all said, and you all agreed, stocks go up due to supply and demand, buyers and sellers. Well, wouldn't it be nice to see those buyers and sellers? Well, you can't trust a market maker that's showing 100 shares, but you can trust a mutual fund that's showing, 14,000 shares or 3,000 when everyone's showing hundreds. See, the thing is, the way you learn, and this was like a light bulb that buyers, okay? Well, the thing is this: how do stocks go up and go down? Supply and demand. So on the chart, if we drew a trend line, you could see clear as day that if that's resistance, that's resistance. So for resistance, what do we need to have a resistance, everybody? What makes support resistance levels on a chart? What makes resistance? And it's not Mr. Bollinger. That's right. Well, it's a pivot point. You're right. You're right. But sellers, okay? Well, here are your buyers. Here are your sellers. Okay. So let me change the slide here. So we have a seller of 2,000 and we got a buyer of 75,000. What do you think is going to happen to the price of the stock? Is it going to go up or go down? Okay, so if you said it was going to go down, you lost. You made a bad decision there, all right? Why? Because how do stocks go up? Supply and demand. By the way, this is trading 101, all right? I didn't even get into the more detailed stuff. This is just giving you a light bulb to make you realize that if you want to trade, the first most important thing for you to be 70% profitable and more successful than every trader out there is you need to know supply and demand, okay? Every speaker, every trader, everyone that trains is going to tell you the same thing, okay? But it's up to you to convince yourself otherwise. Here's another example, all right? Stock right now is trading at $6.26, okay? Now, if the stock was to go up, we need, obviously, resistance. Could anybody tell me where is your resistance levels? Can stock market be manipulated? Listen, Bobby, everything can be manipulated, all right? Even the horse race tonight at the Belmont Stakes could be manipulated. Who knows, you know? Now, being legal is a different story, but you know what? At the end of the day, you're not moving hundreds of thousands of shares. You're probably moving 100 or 1,000 tops. So don't overestimate. So let's look at the big iceberg orders. All right, so yes, at $6.75, we have a 45,000 share iceberg order. That's a real order. Now, this is the next thing people ask me. Is that a real order, Fausto? You know what? If you think it's fake, why don't you go try executing it and let me know after? Because I get people all the time that tell me, oh, how do you know these are real orders? I heard they're fake orders. Oh, yeah, it's so fake. Why don't you go execute the guy and then let me know what happens afterwards. So next time someone ever tells you that, you tell exactly what I just told you. Oh, yeah, they're at execute. And it's funny because I did a trader's challenge once, and I don't want to insult or embarrass the school that I competed against, but one guy actually challenged me on that order because I was trying to do a presentation, and then out of the background, I hear in the back of his voice, he goes, "Oh yeah, that's a fake order." I'm like, And I didn't even want to even go to a debate with him. This is what I put him in his place. You know what? I played his game. You know what? You're probably right. Do me a favor. Could you execute him? And just to make sure, if you think it's fake, could you just do that in front of the whole audience? Because he said it's fake, right? Could you go out and execute the guy? And he's like, why have to execute? I said, you said it's fake. Just execute it. I just want to make sure, because if I'm going to do my trade, due to your experience, I want to see if the guy's real or not, because I want to use your money instead of mine. Okay? And you know what he said? Nah, I don't want to go do that. And then I tell him, could you admit to everyone, maybe it is not a fake order, maybe it's a real order. You know? He goes, yeah, maybe it is real. Oh, maybe, or it is. Because no one will put an order out there if it was fake. So you always got to keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. So getting back to these orders, ladies and gentlemen, you need to know where the game plan is. And if you look at that 675 right there, you will see right there, that will probably explain why that is called a pivot point as a resistance levels, okay? So the thing is, looking at a chart, a lot of you look at these pivot points, you look at the support resistance levels. We'll stop and think about it for a second. What makes support and resistance levels, okay? Think about it. Buyers and sellers. So what you're seeing right now, these are the buyers and these are the sellers. So the way you, and think about it, stocks break support resistance levels all the time, right? Well, how do they do it? Due to those big orders. So you have to find those big iceberg orders. You have to find that big block order out there. You know, so as much as you might read a chart and be an expert at it, let me tell you something. There's something I call the KISS method. I don't know if anybody hear of it. I preach it all the time. It's called keep it super simple. So if you kept things more simple than more complicated and got away with so much technical analysis because it ends up becoming paralysis, follow the money. That will help answer most of your support and resistance levels. Okay, like here we have another one. Where is the R? And R is a lingo we use as resistance level. Where are the R's? Well, the R's are where the sellers are. And when you look at those resistance levels, you could see there's a 12,000 share seller, a 10,000 share seller. You know, what separates you from knowing where these stocks are? Having a game plan. Here's another one. Is ARIA going up or down? What is it doing, everybody? Let's see. Let's have a little pop quiz here. What is this stock doing? Is it going to go up or go down? Look for what the data we have. Up or down? Okay, Mark says up. Purse says up. Jim says down. Well, I can't even ask. Right? There's so many of you. Look at that. You guys are getting. This is what I like. A lot of you can start to interact. This is how you learn. Down, down, up. Ed says I can't see Warren Buffett's orders. Well, you can't. Well, Warren Buffett's not a market maker, but he will route orders through other people, and you can see him. But who cares? You know, Warren Buffett is only one man. There are a lot of Warren Buffetts out there, ladies and gentlemen. Because the market trades all day. Warren Buffett's not trading all day and running 70% of the volume of the market. So let's get to this. Is it going up or down? Well, a couple of things you got to look at. First of all, time and sales, a lot of reds. That means a lot of people are executing the bid side. Okay. Next, stock is down literally 71%. Okay. Third, stocks at resistance levels. Okay. You can see it on the chart. But what implements all this all together? The 14,000 share seller, which is that right there. And you can see 13,000, 6,000. But when you look at the bid, what do you got? 200, 400. Now look at the time right here. You see the time right there? Everybody see that time? 10:58. Look what happened. Okay. At 11 o'clock, okay, now look where we're at. We went up in 3 minutes. We went from $5 to $4.88, okay? And look at the orders out there. So the thing is this, having a game plan is key, ladies and gentlemen. So it's not everything else that you implement, it's what the market makers are doing. So that is what helps you understand how to trade. Let's do one more, okay? Is this stock going up or down? What do you think? Up or down? All right. Wow, one person said two people said sideways. All right, that's a good one. Well, we went down, we went up. We went down, we went up. And right now we're right here. What do you think the stock's going to do, up or down? Jim says he's unknown. Well, Jim, if you're unknown, then obviously you need a little more training than what you really need, because there is a way of figuring it out, okay? Well, let me change the slide here. Oops, not really. Sorry about that. Okay, so right there, okay, that is your resistance levels right here, okay? The guy at 1620. At 1610, we don't have a 10,000 share buyer. So what do you think the stock's going to do? Well, without buyers, I don't care what the chart tells you. There's no buyers out there. This stock is going down. Exactly, ladies and gentlemen. So what's this whole thing where we get into? Having a game plan. Okay, you just can't go into trading not having a game plan that says, oh, today's a trading day, let me see what's happening in the market. Do you guys realize that trading is a 90, well, I hate to say 90, but an 80% failure rate to be a little conservative? And why? Because nobody knows how and when and where the buyers are, where the sellers are. You need to have a game plan, okay? So when you look at it, here's that slide, there's no buyers out there. Remember, you just all said stocks get driven up by supply and demand. Well, with no demand, the stock is going down. Bobby says, wow. Bobby, was that hard? Was that difficult to figure out? Anyone? Is that difficult? Okay. Gene says that's good stuff. I'll just copy some of the notes and put them in there. Gerald says it sounds easy. Gerard, you're absolutely right. It is easy. Trading is easy. You know what the hard part about trading is? The hardest part about trading? What does anybody think? What's the hardest part about trading? I'll tell you what the hardest part. Okay? Getting yourself educated. That's the hardest thing. Nobody wants to take the time to learn how to do it. They just want to do it. Okay? This is not Nike. Okay? This is trading. I don't want my son, God forbid, go into the hospital to have somebody do any procedure on him that didn't learn how to do it first. I wouldn't want to go give my money to anybody, any mutual fund or hedge fund or an IRA or an accountant or whatever it may be to trade my money that never learned how to do it. Well, think about how many of you here are doing the same thing. Trading is not hard. And this was like a light bulb. Like I told you, when I first started and I finally raised up the white flag, and every instructor here is going to tell you the same exact thing, because we don't want you to make the same stupid mistake that we've made, okay? We want to hope that you're going to be smarter than us and better than us. There's nothing wrong about being better than us. Is doing the right thing. Now, understand one thing. Trading is a part-time job. This is not a full-time job. That's why we love to teach, okay? So some of you here are like, well, why do you teach? Well, I do both. The problem is I only trade 10% of the day. What am I supposed to do 90% of the time? I wasn't too healthy when I was, 24-year-old to be semi-retired. And I'm being honest, I was, all right? So basically when it comes to trading, timing is everything when it comes to trading. And that's why trading, there's only a small window of opportunity to trade. Here's an example. Did anybody see this stock yesterday, ICLD? Anybody see ICLD? Stock went from $6 all the way to almost $7 in less than, 2 hours? Actually, the first 30 minutes, the stock literally ran 70 cents. You know what 70 cents is in 1,000 shares? That's right, Steve. We traded it. That's right. I'll just put that in there. About $700. Anyone here happy to make $700 in 30 minutes? Who's here? Anyone have a problem with that? Because I think the last time I added that up, what was that come out to be? Over $200,000 a year? How about this one? Anybody saw REFD? REFD, right at the open, went from 260 all the way to 325. Okay? Anything wrong? I don't know what RFMD does. I don't care. Okay? We tweeted, we texted this, but trading is a part-time job. This is what we traded. And I know I have a lot of students in here that are listening in, and you know what? You'll get an opportunity at the end of this presentation to meet them all, and you'll have an opportunity to see what a great part-time job this is, but it really is. You need to know how to play the game. John says, what about Amazon? I wouldn't trade Amazon, because me specifically, if I had an opportunity to tie up $300 on a $300 stock versus a $3 stock, which is 100 times less money, I'd rather trade the $3,000 worth of $300,000. At the end of the day, why are you here? To make money. There are 10,000 stocks out there. Why are you going to trade the same one? They're not that hard. Here's another one, ISIS. Anybody hear about this stock? Went from 28 to almost $31 a share in what, an hour and a half? I know Amazon didn't move that much, okay? Chris said the WMCR was a great trade also. It was, but the thing, I can go on and on and on, and you know what, Chris and everyone else, I can go in here and I can tell you every single great trade, but I always tell my students, don't ever judge me on my great trades, always judge me on my bad trades because how few they are. You always get people always talk about all these great trades. Nobody talks about the bad ones. Listen, there's something that you'll always learn from me. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. And the great thing about admitting when I'm wrong, which is one of probably the biggest failure rates of the industry, is I show you how to cut losses. And I know that is one of the biggest, hardest things for you guys to do. So trading is a part-time job. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. It's not a lot of work, but you have to understand something. This is the best job in the world. You are, it's like, I love this photo because it's like the caretaker of a beautiful island. Who here doesn't want to have that? I think this is the best job in the world, the caretaker. The second best job is being a trader. Okay, so because you don't have to worry about taxes here, and have to worry about headaches and anything, politics, health, anything. But in trading, you are your own boss. You can come and go whenever you please. You could do this anywhere in the world. I give everybody a guarantee. I tell everyone this, which not too many people could back it up, but I could. Stock market's not going out of business. It'll be there by the time you and I die, so what's the rush? But it is one of the best jobs in the world, all right? And why that is, because by learning how to trade correctly and trading at the most volatile times, you'll be able to spend more time with your family. You'll be able to socialize with your friends a lot more, maybe go out there and do the things to get yourself exercise, to get you and play more golf, do more fishing. And the thing was, when I started, when I was 24 years old, I was doing all these things. But that's, my father-in-law always taught me, at the time, my wife was my girlfriend. My father-in-law says, what is this guy doing that he comes home and drives a Porsche, at 23 years old? I mean, this guy, and he knew I couldn't be a drug dealer because he thought they only worked during the night. He's like, he must be doing something illegal, and he's in a finance, it must be. And then he came down, he saw it, he says, Dad, I said, look, I trade the first 30 minutes of the open. This is what I was trained. I make my money, and that's it. I try to trade all day long, but I end up giving it back, So, but eventually, he's like, could you teach me how to do the same thing? Because, this body shop thing is just not really working out for me. I'm working 7 days a week, and I'm like, I taught him how to do it, and he's doing it right now. Very successful trader, retired down in Florida, and that's how I got into education. But what do we need to do? We need to learn. That's why we're here. That is the biggest, most important investment. You guys have been trained since the day you were in kindergarten to go to college. That's the first thing. Well, just because you went to college doesn't mean you can't go back to school. And let me explain something to you. You can't go to school and learn how to be a trader. There's really no school out there. I mean, I know they're starting to offer it, but there's really no school out there you can really learn how to trade that's convenient for you and cost effective without dishing out $50,000 a semester. you know, and who has the time to spend 4 years in school? Trading is an everyday part of it, but you do have to learn how to do it. Now, by the way, if anyone here wants to follow me on Twitter and watch some more videos, I know a bunch of you watch, I have hundreds and hundreds of videos on YouTube. These will be able, a couple of samples to give you an idea about trading. Now please keep in mind, you know, there's only so much I kind of go over here in this, but if you really want to learn and do it right, you know, I'm going to tell you in the next moments what I'm going to be offering everybody. First of all, I tweet, I text. One of the things I do with my students, I trade live with you. We're in a trading market. We trade together. We go out there. We buy. We sell. A couple of questions coming across here. I don't want to kind of forget anybody here. Tony has a question. Where in the trade do you find total view is it good for? Well, Tony, you got to ask them where they have it. You have to have it turned on. John has a question. Could you have seen the drop in power on the chart? Yes, I can, John. The thing is, John, but did you see the orders out there? Gerard says, with 5 meters of snow outside, which you know he's not from the state, outside, you could still trade. That's absolutely great. That's right. You don't have to worry about getting in your car and running in there. Martin, can you get level 2 and level 3 on futures? You know, I don't trade futures, but I believe you could. Let me see what we got here. Grant says, I want to learn to be the best trader as I can. Well, Grant, listen, as much as you're trading, and you know, Grant is a student, you know, you can never stop learning. You always learn something new every day. Okay, we have a question here. How do you select stocks and trade like a stock symbol like ATR? Well, the thing is this. One thing I teach my students is that when you trade, you have to learn how to find them. You have to learn how to go out there and know, you know, which stocks are tradable, which ones are not, which ones have good spreads, all that good stuff. You need to learn how to do that. That's something I'm going to tell everyone. If you want to join me, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that consistently. What is HOD? HOD means high of the day. That's a little, I mean, basically this is the stock symbol that we traded. This was actually on Friday. You guys could check out some of these stocks. These are tweets and that I've done of stocks that we traded that have done very well. You know, every stocks that I trade, they range between 10 and about 150% on the day. Can you work full-time job and still do this? Absolutely, Linda. Absolutely, because this is a 30-minute job. And you could learn at night. You could trade, and when you could trade, you could, you know, depending on what part of the country you are and time zone, but absolutely. Absolutely. You have to subscribe to this, get tweets live. Well, Alan, there's 2 of them. There's a free version, there's a paid version, which I'm going to tell everyone in just the next moment, okay? How many stocks do you trade in a day? You know what? I teach how to trade 1 stock at a time. You know what? If you can't make money on 1, how do you expect to make trade 2? You know, it's not going to happen. I'm retired, and I hope that it will work for me as well, okay? Well, listen, I know there's a lot of you here retired. I know there's a lot of you here that are trading your IRA. I know there's a lot of you that maybe, you know, sick and tired and want, you know, maybe too qualified to go back to work. You know, we have students, lawyers, doctors, engineers, retirees. They're all part of the trading room, which I'm going to tell you in the next moment if you want to join them all and see and hear from people all day long that do what you're doing. You know what? They threw that all in and they're trading live. You know, but you know what? Every single one of you here are going to try to trade. Every one of you. But why is it a 90% failure rate? Because people just don't take a step back and learn first. Trust me, every student of mine is going to tell you the same thing. It's cheaper to learn first than go out there and losing in the market. Now, I have an article. I know you hear all these things about dark pools and all this stuff. Listen, if you really want to know the truth about dark pools and what it is, I'm going to give you my email address. So everyone basically, let me just put this in there for you. FaustoP@ctucorp.com. just take my email address. I'll be happy to send you the article, and you can read a little bit more about it. People make things think it's like it's something more dangerous than what it is. I don't know why people look at it. Maybe you just don't know what it really is. I'll be happy to send you an article that was written on about it. All right, so why do 80 to 90% of the people fail in trading? Okay, because they never, and I know I repeat this like a broken record, because no one actually taught you how to do it. I mean, think about it. What did we really learn today? What did we really learn? We've learned what high-frequency trades are. We've learned timing during the day. Okay, we learned how online brokers make money on your order. We've learned that you could trade your own money and have a seat on the floor. We've learned a lot. But if you're not going to learn how to do it right, then, then you're going to be part of that 80 to 90% failure rate. And that's the last thing, and that's something why I have such a passion to teach. I go out there, and I'm always on top of people, and I'm telling you, listen, if you don't want to fail, you got to learn how to play the game, okay? And that's what it's going to separate you from being on your winners from the losers. Because if you don't know how, and I always find that people go out there and they try to buy these programs, and they try to buy, everybody wants to tell you what to do. You know what I teach my students what to do? I teach you how to trade. People says, Fausto, could you tell me when to buy and when to sell? And I tell them, absolutely not. First of all, I'm not an advisor, so I can't do that. And number two, I'm not going to really be there every day for you. You got to figure it out on your own. Think about it. Could you drive your kid everywhere? Eventually, you got to say, listen, you got to drive yourself. I can't take you to your friend's house every day. Well, the same thing when it comes to trading. You got to learn how to do it on your own. And that's what's going to separate you from being a winner versus losers. So once again, education is just right ahead. And for some of you who don't know this, I've been a 12-time champion at the Money Show and Traders Expo. Also, Equities Magazine has written us up as the #1 school in education for over 6 years in a row. Everyone that works at Cyber Trading University, instructors are all market makers. So that's one thing that I always find, that if you're going to learn from somebody, obviously learn from the people that are there every day and done it every day. So if you want to learn how to make money today, one thing I try to teach my students, how to make the $200 to $500 a day. That is usually on the average what traders look for. Making the $100,000 plus a year is very easy. What I'm offering everybody is a workshop that I'm going to teach you how to do it's called target entries and exit points. Now, I know that there's a workshop. I'm doing an exclusive. It's 80% off right now. It's $149. But I'm doing an exclusive where it's going to be a 2-hour live workshop on Thursday next week. It's going to be recorded, and as a bonus, you're going to get 1 week in my live trading floor, where we're going to trade all day with all the students. It's a paid workshop. It's not free. Everybody in the cyber group trading floor is a subscriber. I know all 1,000 people here would love to be in there, but for compliance purposes, we have to police who's in there and who's not. So register, come and join us, and I'm going to teach you how to do exit and entry points, okay, on high-frequency trades and on a chart. So once again, it's $24. It's a very, very cost-effective course for everyone. Now, if you want to register for it, let me just give you the link. You can actually register on our homepage of our website. Let me just get you a link for you. Okay, there we are. There you go. All right, you can click on that link, and you also can, if you see my name up on the screen, there's a little like a little pin right there. You can click on a personal URL, and that will send you there also. So if anybody wants a copy of today's slides, or if you want to get a copy of the recording, or you want to personally email me, there's my email address. Feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to answer. I answer all my questions. I'm definitely not going to answer you today because I'm going to the Belmont Stakes. So if you see a guy in yellow pants and a pink shirt, I mean, a light blue shirt, that will be me. I'll wave out there. But, being here in New York, always got to enjoy life, right? I mean, that's some of the things that's the whole beauty about working, is to spend it and enjoy it. But feel free to email me if you have any questions. So you can go to www.ctu.co. You can register or click on that link. Couple of questions here. Do all you students make money, Amir? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And you know why? The ones that don't make money are the ones that are not disciplined. Okay? There's no guarantee. But that's a great question. I love that question. Thank you very much, Grant. Okay, I just have a couple of minutes left before I'm going to pass it to the next presenter. I don't know if anybody has any questions regarding. So once again, it's a new workshop that we're offering here at Cyber Trading University. It's originally $149. It's $24, and you're getting 1 week in our live trading room. It's a 2-hour workshop live with me, and like I said, you get a free week in the live trading floor. A couple of questions here. Marcus says, I have a volume indicator on my chart, but I can't see the numbers of shares bought and sold, and you will show how to get this data view. Yes, I am going to show you that, Mark, exactly, in this event. That's a great question. Because remember, the whole part about being in entries and exits is having a game plan. All right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got less than, about 10 minutes before the next presenter comes in. Okay? So I'm going to give you 10 minutes to sign up, to register online for that promotion. In the meantime, you have my personal email address. If anyone has any questions or any concerns, feel free to contact me. The YouTube address is Cyber Trading U, or you can look at Fausto Pugliese, one or the other. We could use Cyber Trading View because it's too long, but do Cyber Trading U, and you'll find us on Twitter and YouTube, and you could subscribe to all that. What times are the classes? They're going to be going right in the middle of when the market closes. And whatever you can't make, it's going to be recorded. All right? I'm going to give you guys one guarantee about it. The worst thing that could happen is you're going to learn something. That's the worst thing that could happen. All right? Yes, you can. You can also use TC2000. Absolutely. But once again, all that technology you guys are spending, sometimes you don't need to spend all that money. You don't need to. Okay, so you go in and you're getting stuff. You got to remember, a lot of these things these brokerage firms offer you, and these technologies, I could tell you 90% of them, I help a lot of them develop a lot of it. You don't need it. It's window dressing. All right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, listen, thank you very much. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for our next presenter from eSignal. In the meantime, feel free to register and reserve your seat. Oh, by the way, there's only 40 people per event that are allowed to be registered. If you're not the first 40, we have another workshop because we're limited in seats. The next 40 can join us in July for the same workshop. So if you are interested in reserving, make sure you do it now. And then once again, if it gets full, we'll let you know. I'll let you know when you're registering online. If it's full after 40 seats, you're going to be booked for the July class. All right. But if you want to get to learn now, this is a great opportunity. Do it now. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for coming. I'll be right back doing our second presenter. And so let's take a quick break for about 10 minutes, and we'll pick up where we left off. Thanks, everyone.